I'm Katie, and I am born and raised from Cleveland, Ohio, and I am an endurance athlete. I combine my passion for endurance with clean water, so I am a charitable ambassador for H2O for Life. And I'm currently based in Portland, Maine. I'm in the Coast Guard, so I'm currently stationed there. Run4Water was an adventure that I did to run from Cincinnati to Cleveland all the way across the state of Ohio, doing an ultramarathon every single day. So that was 11 ultras in 11 days to raise $34,000 for H2O for Life. So that would help 5,000 people in Uganda gain access to clean water in partnership with the Ugandan Water Project. So we're around mile 13, so the first half marathon, and we just got on the nature trail. My why is very simple. It's been my why from my very first adventure, and it's water. My hope and goal through these endurance challenges is to help others who are in need of clean water and to get us closer to a world where no one has to drink dirty water and everyone has access to the clean water that they need. What I really like about supporting clean water is that it is the first step out of a life of poverty. And if you care about health, you care about water. If you care about education, you care about water. If you care about women's issues, you care about water. Water is everything. I believe that water is such a foundational necessity that when you are able to help others with clean water, it has that ripple effect. So the specific record is a Guinness World Record for the most consecutive days by a female to run an ultramarathon distance. And so for this journey, it was a 31-mile run every day. And having it as a Guinness record meant that the whole run was documented with film. There was a witness that came at the beginning and the witness that came at the end to verify that I had done the run. Those witnesses were generally police officers or even mayors or local government officials.
Thank you. We'll be back tomorrow morning.
Have a good night.
By itself, a world record doesn't necessarily change the world or change anything, but I see that these events can amplify the cause that it's intended to support. So the value of that was to lift up the voices of the people that aren't being heard right now, which is the 800 million people without clean water. A day in the life of the run, usually waking up around 6. Maybe a little bit of stretching, but it's all about fueling. So I would, the night before, have pretty much everything laid out, my food, what I was wearing, charging all the electronics. I had my hat, I had my sunscreen out, but then in the morning it was just a matter of fueling up, and we did often have to drive an hour, maybe even an hour and a half in the morning. So there was time getting to where we needed to be. Sometimes there were runners that joined, sometimes there was different media, but there was always prayer happening in the morning and the witness.
Bye.
The first 10, 15 miles, it was pretty much like clockwork. You go, you do your run, you get your fuel, you go on your way.
Hey friends, just wanted to give a quick shout out thank you video to everyone who's donated. Right now I think it's at $27,000 and the goal is 34, so we're getting super close, super grateful.
Mile 20 That was the time that I put my legs up. So that would be like full 5 minutes, putting your legs up to help pull through for the next 10. And then maybe at 25, I would take a 5-minute break and then be on my way. At its core, it was singularly focused on this one goal. So everything during those 11 days was all about the run. The Ohio to Erie Trail is a 326-mile trail that goes from the Ohio River in downtown Cincinnati and then ending in downtown Cleveland at Edgewater Park. Goes through suburbs, goes through Amish country, farmland, goes through national parks. But for the most part, it went through almost like a little tunnel of trees, weaving in and out of different small towns. One moment that really stood out on day 3 was this gentleman, and he had a prosthetic leg. And as I was running, he took it upon himself to run as far as he could with me, a few hundred yards, to encourage me and to really demonstrate everything that this is about. Not about going far distances or reaching this, but it's about finding your own limit and reaching beyond it and finding your own version of impossible and meeting it. As a kid, I definitely played all the sports. I played basketball, baseball, softball, volleyball, every single sport that had a ball and a court or a field, I tried. However, I was physically there, but mentally I was off on my own. So I wasn't a star athlete, and so because I spent so much time as a bench warmer just sitting there, I figured, well, sports are just not for me. And so that's when I signed up for a running class. All I had to do was put one foot in front of the other to get an A, and that's just what I did at first. And then out of sheer boredom and a little bit of curiosity, I wondered if I could run 1 mile straight, and that wasn't something I had ever done before. Wasn't pretty, wasn't graceful, but just 1 mile of running was just enough for me to see that my body was more capable than I ever imagined. My biggest worry wasn't that my body was going to break down or fail me, it was my mind. And your mind can quit much quicker than your body can.
I thought I'd take a second just to share with you one of the little mental tricks that I use in endurance, and I actually repeat over and over again, this is easy, and try to trick myself into thinking that it is. So I think it's easy to say, oh gosh, this is so hard, and that actually makes it a lot harder. So
because everyone's hurting at some point during endurance challenges, it becomes a test of whose mind is going to keep saying and keep pushing and keep accepting the pain.
Here she comes! Can I give me a 100? Oh.
The day 4 was the milestone of reaching 100 miles. Because I have run 100 miles in one go, I think it was cool to start to reach new milestones. So after 100, 130, that's kind of like, okay, we're in new territory. I've never run this far before. In races, it's not uncommon for people to have signs and to cheer the runners on. And what's different about this run is it was such a long journey and it was one runner. So I never expected anyone to go out of their way and put up signs. But especially in Columbus, there were groups of kids with signs, and that was really special, just being uplifted by that sign of hope that I'm not alone, that people are cheering. Columbus definitely didn't disappoint.
Can I give you a hug? We'd be crazy already. Good morning.
There were media there were runners there, and H2O for Life was there, so it was almost a pre-party for the event itself. For me, prayer was something that set the tone for the day, every day.
Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the gifts that you have given her.
To be going into a challenge like this and to have trust and have faith and know that this is not something I am leading, that God is leading, and that is really where the strength of this journey comes from. I love endurance. I love running for many reasons. It's a way to meet new people. It's a way to see places you might never see otherwise. It's a way to intimately interact with your surroundings, and it is a very in the zone experience. And a lot of it is just, I'm focused on my breathing, and I'm focused on my lean, like my tilt. I'm focused on my cadence. And so it requires this intense focus that makes kind of like the whole world melt away, and it's just you and the pavement. At the core, ultra running is you versus you versus you yesterday, you finding your best, not being concerned with being the best. It's about reaching your own potential and reaching your own limits.
Hey friends, we're at day 6, and today is going to be reaching the halfway point. It's definitely super hot already and going to be 90 today. So the big thing is just staying on top of hydration.
The Run4Water would have never happened without crew. And the biggest role was really like the crew mom, Lori. She was driving the van, making sure I had fuel, sorting through all the logistics, making sure we were on the right path. You know, everything. Lori had some touch point. Then there was Deb. Deb is a ultra runner that I met from doing a 100-mile run in Tennessee. She has supported many other ultra runners, and day 6 was really the height of my knee issue. And I had not taken any pain medicine because I wanted to be in touch with what was happening in my body, not masking it. Deb was able to help with figuring out what to take, like over the counter and when. And so that was a big turning point to be able to incorporate some of that for pain management. I think it's important to sometimes have those setbacks for me personally, just because it's a way for me to constantly go back to what is my strength rather than trying to find it in myself. And so the injury was a way for me to more lean on God, because I knew that that was the only way I could get through it.
Woo! Go! Good job!
I think we're all searching and seeking for a place to call home. Maybe it is your relationship or your job or the place that you grew up, or a continual search for that new place. And I recognized through my journey in endurance, the reason I could never run home, the reason I could never find that place of home is because I was searching in every place that wasn't God. I became very aware of my own brokenness after one of the most successful periods of my life, being the youngest to row across the Atlantic, raising a bunch of money for charity. And I was so torn up because I was not feeling what you would expect to feel from achievement. And I put all of my worth in that, and I was feeling like, okay, I have clean water. and yet I still feel this empty. It was never meant to be where my identity and worth were placed. And there is a foundation and a comfort and a feeling of hope that faith has given me that I haven't found anywhere else but faith alone.
I feel like Jesus is carrying me all the way.
It's never about conquering nature. It's just about walking through in humility for a call I felt on my life to do these challenges and to do them for clean water and honor the call, but also know that that's given and could be taken. Day 7 was a day that we reached the 200-mile mark.
200!
It took 7 days to get there, but I do remember saying that I could do this forever, and I was comfortable with what I was asking my body to do. And we, as a team with the crew, we found our rhythm, and it was just kind of getting easier.
It's day 8, mile 4. I'm on the trail, feeling good. Just gotta ice and hydrate all day because it's another day in the 90s. All right, that's your update.
There was always a lot of energy and emotion going into this journey, and in the beginning, it was disbelief, in the middle, tension, and by the end, all that energy was more or less excitement to know that this could happen. Day 9 was a time where we were going through a lot of canals and approaching Akron and starting to see places that I might have seen growing up. In my 20s, I was always anxious to leave home, to leave Cleveland, to go as far as I possibly could. And I never really looked at Ohio as something I wanted to run to. And it was just a powerful moment to be able to do exactly what I love doing and go back to the roots that will forever be home to me. For anyone who looks at these challenges and says, oh, I could never do that, my answer is simple, and it's that I thought so too. Just because you think you can't do something doesn't mean you're right. The only way to really find out is to try. And unless you've tried to do these challenges, you don't really know if it's possible or if it's not possible. Truthfully, the world doesn't need more people running marathons or biking across countries. The world needs people that are courageous and brave enough to live the life that they were called to live. The Ohio to Erie Trail, it was constantly taking us in and out of different parks, but on day 10, it was being in a national park, the Cuyahoga Valley National Park, and my body definitely appreciated being able to take a break from the concrete, and it definitely minimized some of the impact and helped with my knee. And although we were still in the middle of this adventure, near the end is really when we started to kind of reflect on, wow, you know, I can't believe this is almost over. I can't believe we actually did this, just looking at the map and seeing how far we came together. By day 11, we had perfected it. We knew what we were doing, we knew how we were going to do it, and it was the day that the most amount of people came out to support the run. Dozens of local runners came, and I was feeling like the female version of Forrest Gump.
You guys ready to run?
Oh, yeah.
All right, have fun, everyone.
The lightness I felt on day 11, I think it largely had to do with us reaching that fundraising goal the night before day 11, and just having that peace of mind that the run accomplished what it had intended to do. Day 1 through 10 were very much conserving and protecting and preventing, and day 11, knowing that I could do whatever I needed to do to recover the next day, it was like hands off the reins, just go. And I was just ready to reach the end. It was really powerful just because you can see the city of Cleveland miles out, and seeing that skyline and seeing something that I've always seen, but seeing it through new eyes, and just having that kind of dramatic finish line of going back to this city. This was never intended to be about, oh wow, look what I can do. It was always intended to be a mirror to show others of what you're capable of, and to really cheerlead and support and encourage and motivate others to find their own limits, discover their own limits, and have the courage to try. I think we all have something within us that we want to do. Maybe not now, but I think we're all given these visions and these dreams and these goals. And the next time you want to write off a crazy idea, perhaps it's worth considering that the reason you were given that crazy idea is because you're actually meant to do it. That after finishing, the one thing I wanted is to go back to the water. And so Deb, Lori, and we all grabbed our dolphins and ran immediately to cool off, to celebrate, to have that moment together. Of course I was excited, of course I was on a high, of course there was that immediate rush of accomplishment and succeeding and of setting out what you intended to do. And I'm also excited about what happens after that. When you set a goal that seems impossible and you're able to achieve it, it's a framework for how to perceive and how to look at other challenges. And I think the same way that you approach these endurance challenges, one step at a time, is the same way you approach the water crisis, one person at a time, one drop at a time. And really that's the only way that I've ever seen or know change to happen.
Hey, this is James. I'm here in the Sukuma and Wakiso district. And this is one of the projects that was funded as part of our recent partnership with H2O for Life and Katie Spots and the Run4Water Challenge. We got here a few hours ago. This was broken. It had been broken for 2 years. As you can see, they're very excited. We got water flowing again. Yeah. And we're just so excited to see, even before we could finish, all these jerry cans are lining up. And we're so excited to see this.